The betrayal, 2,000 words. The perfect life shattered. Maya Chen stood before the mirror in her luxurious bedroom, smoothing down the emerald silk dress that hugged her curves. The diamond necklace at her throat sparkled under the soft lighting. Adrian had given it to her last Christmas, along with whispered promises of forever. Tonight was the annual Stone Foundation Charity Gala. After 5 years with Adrian Stone, Maya knew exactly how to be the perfect partner for a billionaire. She had learned to dress elegantly, speak carefully, and smile gracefully at his business associates. She had transformed from a small-town girl working at a coffee shop into someone who belonged in Adrian's glittering world. Or so she thought. "You look stunning," Adrian said, appearing behind her in his custom-tailored tuxedo. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his gray eyes assessing her appearance with the same attention he gave to business deals. "Remember, Senator Williams will be there tonight. Be charming, but not too friendly." Maya turned and kissed his cheek. "I know the rules, Adrian." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Good. Tonight is important for the company. Let's go." The charity gala. The Grand Horizon Hotel ballroom glittered with crystal chandeliers and the city's elite. Maya recognized faces from magazine covers and news broadcasts. She held Adrian's arm as they made their entrance, feeling the weight of hundreds of eyes on them. "Adrian! There you are!" A woman's voice cut through the classical music. Maya turned to see Victoria Hart gliding toward them in a stunning red gown. Victoria was old money, the daughter of the Hart real estate empire. She had known Adrian since childhood. "Victoria," Adrian said warmly, releasing Maya's arm to embrace the other woman. "You look radiant." "And you look happy," Victoria purred, her eyes sliding over Maya with barely concealed disdain. "Still with the coffee shop girl, I see." Maya's smile remained fixed, but her stomach churned. Adrian had promised her that his history with Victoria meant nothing. "They were just old friends," he said. "Business partners, nothing more." "Actually," Adrian said, and something in his tone made Maya's blood run cold. "I have an announcement to make tonight. Victoria and I wanted you all to hear it first." The world seemed to tilt. Maya reached for Adrian's arm, but he stepped away from her, moving to stand beside Victoria instead. "What's happening?" Maya whispered, but her voice was drowned out by the clinking of a champagne glass. Adrian raised his voice. "Everyone, may I have your attention please?" The ballroom fell silent. Hundreds of faces turned toward them. Maya felt frozen, unable to move, unable to breathe. "I'm thrilled to announce my engagement to Victoria Hart," Adrian declared, wrapping his arm around Victoria's waist. "We'll be married in the spring." The world crashes down. The room erupted in applause and congratulations. Maya stood alone, her ears ringing. This couldn't be real. This had to be a nightmare. She and Adrian had been together for 5 years. They lived together. They had plans. Victoria turned to Maya with a triumphant smile, her hand displaying a massive diamond ring. "Thank you for keeping him company while I was abroad, dear. But now it's time for you to step aside." Maya's legs finally obeyed her. She pushed through the crowd, desperate to escape the pitying stares and whispered gossip. Behind her, she heard Adrian's laugh, casual and unconcerned, as he accepted congratulations from his friends. She made it to the hotel corridor before her knees buckled. She collapsed against the wall, gasping for air. 5 years. 5 years of her life, gone. 5 years of loving him, trusting him, building a life with him. Maya. Adrian's voice was cold when he finally found her 20 minutes later. "Don't make a scene. This is embarrassing." She looked up at him, this man she had loved more than her own life. "Embarrassing? You just announced your engagement to another woman while I was standing right there. What did you expect?" He straightened his cufflinks, not meeting her eyes. "Did you really think this was permanent? You're a sweet girl, Maya, but you're not wife material. Not for someone like me." The words hit her like physical blows. You said you loved me. I was fond of you, he corrected. You served a purpose. But Victoria is my equal. She understands my world. Her family connections will help expand Stone Industries. You. He finally looked at her, and his eyes were empty of any warmth. You were always temporary. Eviction and isolation. Maya barely remembered getting back to their penthouse that night. By the time she arrived, security guards were already there, along with Adrian's assistant holding a stack of papers. Mr. Stone instructed me to give you these, the assistant said, avoiding her eyes. You have 24 hours to remove your personal belongings. The apartment belongs to Mr. Stone. Maya looked around the home she had shared with Adrian for 3 years. Every piece of furniture, every decoration, she had chosen with love and care. The kitchen where she had cooked him dinner countless times. The bedroom where he had held her and whispered that she was his everything. All lies. Where am I supposed to go? She asked quietly. The assistant shifted uncomfortably. That's not my concern, Miss Chen. 24 hours. Maya spent that night packing her life into suitcases, most of which contained clothes Adrian had bought her. She left them behind, taking only what had been hers before him. By morning, her entire existence fit into 2 bags. The nightmare continued. On Monday, Maya went to her job at Stone Industries, where she worked as a junior marketing coordinator. Adrian had gotten her the position 2 years ago. She should have known it would be taken away just as easily. Your employment is terminated effective immediately, Human Resources informed her. Violation of company fraternization policy. But Adrian and I. Mr. Stone is not being terminated, the HR director said flatly. You are. Security will escort you out. Maya walked past her former colleagues, seeing pity and contempt in their eyes. No one defended her. No one even said goodbye. The final blow. Maya moved into a tiny studio apartment in a rough part of town. Her savings from 5 years of working were pitiful. Adrian had always insisted on paying for everything, and she had been too in love to see the trap. He had kept her dependent on him. Her friends, the women she had met through Adrian's social circle, disappeared. Their phone numbers were suddenly disconnected. Their social media accounts blocked her. She realized with crushing clarity that they had never been her friends. They were Adrian's friends, and without him, she was nothing to them. 3 weeks after the gala, Maya woke up nauseous. She had been feeling sick for days, but she had attributed it to stress and heartbreak. But when the nausea continued, a terrible suspicion formed. The pregnancy test showed 2 pink lines. Maya stared at it in her cramped bathroom, her hand shaking. She was pregnant with Adrian's child. The man who had thrown her away like garbage, who had humiliated her in front of hundreds of people, who had stolen 5 years of her life. She should tell him. It was his right to know. But then she remembered his cold eyes in the hotel corridor. You were always temporary. She thought about Victoria, probably planning her wedding, oblivious to the fact that her fiancé had been with Maya just weeks before the engagement announcement. No. Maya made a decision in that moment. Adrian Stone had abandoned her. He had made it clear she meant nothing to him. She would not give him the satisfaction of knowing about this child. She would not let him use her baby as a pawn in whatever game he was playing. She would disappear. A stranger's kindness. Maya had one valuable possession left, a vintage necklace from her grandmother. She sold it for $1,500, enough for a bus ticket and first month's rent somewhere far away. She chose Seaside Haven, a small coastal town 300 miles north. She had vacationed there once as a child and remembered it as peaceful and beautiful. It seemed like the perfect place to start over. The bus ride took 6 hours. Maya watched the city fade behind her, carrying with it every dream she had built with Adrian. She placed her hand on her still flat stomach. It's just you and me now, she whispered. I'll protect you. I promise. Seaside Haven looked exactly as she remembered, quaint shops, friendly faces, and the endless ocean stretching to the horizon. Maya found a small apartment above a bookstore and took a job waitressing at a local diner. The owner, a kind woman named Rosa, didn't ask too many questions when Maya said she was starting fresh. Rosa seemed to understand that some people needed a second chance without explaining why. 2 weeks after arriving in Seaside Haven, Maya met Elena Winters. Elena was an elegant woman in her late 60s, always dressed in expensive but understated clothes. She came to the diner every morning for coffee and toast, always sitting at the same corner table, always leaving generous tips. One morning, Maya's pregnancy nausea hit during her shift. She barely made it to the bathroom before getting sick. When she emerged, pale and shaking, Elena was waiting. "Sit down, dear," Elena said gently, guiding Maya to a chair. "You're pregnant, aren't you?" Maya's eyes filled with tears. She nodded. "And you're alone," Elena continued, her voice soft with understanding. "Running from or someone. How did you?" "I recognize the look in your eyes," Elena said. "I once wore the same expression. Let me help you." An unexpected ally. Maya wanted to refuse. She had learned the hard way that accepting help came with strings attached. But something in Elena's eyes stopped her. There was genuine kindness there, and wisdom earned through pain. Elena owned a large house on the cliffs overlooking the ocean. She offered Maya the guest cottage, rent-free, in exchange for help with her garden and occasional company. "I'm not being charitable," Elena insisted when Maya hesitated. "I'm lonely. My husband died 5 years ago, and my daughter lives overseas. This house is too big and too quiet. You'd actually be doing me a favor." Maya accepted. What choice did she have? Living with Elena turned out to be a blessing. The older woman was kind but not intrusive. She taught Maya about prenatal nutrition, accompanied her to doctor's appointments, and never pushed for information about the baby's father. "When you're ready to talk, I'll listen," Elena said. "And if you're never ready, that's fine too." As Maya's pregnancy progressed, she found herself opening up. She told Elena everything, about Adrian, about the humiliation, about the betrayal. She cried in Elena's arms about the life she had lost and the uncertain future ahead. Elena listened without judgment. When Maya finished, the older woman was quiet for a long moment. "My dear," Elena finally said, "what that man did to you was cruel and unforgivable. But you have something he will never have." "What's that?" "A chance to start completely fresh," Elena said, her eyes sharp and knowing. "You're young, intelligent, and you have a fire inside you that I can see. That man tried to break you, but you're still standing. Do you know how rare that is?" Maya touched her growing belly. "I don't feel strong." "Strength isn't about feeling powerful," Elena said. "It's about surviving when everything inside you wants to give up. You're stronger than you know, Maya Chen. And I'm going to help you realize it." The promise of tomorrow. In the months that followed, Elena became the mother figure Maya had lost years ago. She encouraged Maya to take online business courses, to explore her long-abandoned dream of fashion design. "You mentioned you loved sketching," Elena said one day. "Show me." Hesitantly, Maya shared her old notebooks filled with dress designs. She had dreamed of being a designer once, before Adrian convinced her that such dreams were impractical. Elena studied the sketches with a designer's eye. "These are brilliant," she breathed. "Maya, you have real talent. Why did you stop?" Adrian said it was childish. He said I should focus on supporting his career, not chasing impossible dreams. Elena's expression hardened. Adrian was a fool. "After the baby comes, we're going to make these designs a reality." Maya laughed, but it was bitter. "With what money? What connections?" "I'm a waitress living in a guest cottage." Elena smiled mysteriously. "Let me worry about that." For now, just focus on staying healthy and bringing that baby into the world safely. The future will take care of itself. On a cold November night, Maya went into labor. Elena was by her side through every contraction, every scream, every moment of pain and fear. And when the nurse finally placed a tiny, perfect boy in Maya's arms, she wept. "Hello, Ethan," she whispered, counting his tiny fingers and toes. She had chosen the name carefully. It meant strong and firm. Everything she wanted him to be. Everything she would become for him. Looking down at her son's face, Maya made a silent vow. Adrian Stone had thrown her away. He had treated her like she was worthless. But she would prove him wrong. She would rise from the ashes of her broken life. She would become someone powerful, someone successful, someone who could never be discarded again. And someday, somehow, Adrian would regret what he had done. But for now, she had a son to raise and a life to rebuild. The revenge would come later. Part 2, The Transformation, 2,000 words. 5 years later. The morning sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of Maya's design studio. She stood before a wall of sketches, a cup of coffee cooling in her hand as she studied the upcoming spring collection. Her phone buzzed with messages from buyers, journalists, and celebrities all wanting pieces from M. Rivers, the mysterious designer who had taken the fashion world by storm. "Mommy. Mommy, look what I drew." Maya turned to see Ethan running toward her, his dark hair bouncing with each step. At 5 years old, he was bright, curious, and the absolute center of her world. He held up a crayon drawing of what appeared to be a rocket ship. "That's amazing, sweetheart." Maya knelt down to examine the picture properly. "Are you going to be an astronaut?" "Maybe," Ethan said seriously. "Or a superhero." "I haven't decided yet." Elena appeared in the doorway, smiling at the scene. In the 5 years since Ethan's birth, Elena had become family. More than family, she was the grandmother Ethan had never known, the mother Maya had lost, the friend who had saved her life. "Ethan, how about we go feed the ducks while your mother finishes work?" Elena suggested. "Yes." Ethan grabbed Elena's hand, but paused to look back at Maya. "Will you come to dinner tonight, Mommy? Elena is making spaghetti." "I wouldn't miss it for the world," Maya promised, kissing his forehead. After they left, Maya returned to her designs, but her mind wandered. 5 years. 5 years since she had fled Adrian Stone's world broken and pregnant. 5 years since she had vowed to rebuild herself. She had succeeded beyond her wildest dreams. The secret identity. What Ethan didn't know, what almost no one knew, was that Maya Chen and M. Rivers were the same person. After Ethan's birth, Elena had revealed a secret of her own. She was actually Elena Winters Ashford, widow of tech mogul Richard Ashford and majority shareholder in several fashion houses across Europe. More surprisingly, she was Maya's biological grandmother. "Your mother was my daughter," Elena had explained, tears in her eyes. "We had a falling out when she got pregnant with you. I was too proud, too stubborn to reach out. By the time I tried to find her, she had died. I've been looking for you ever since, Maya. When I saw you in that diner, I knew immediately. You have her eyes." Elena had used her connections and fortune to launch Maya's career under the pseudonym M. Rivers. They agreed to keep Maya's identity secret for 2 reasons. First, to protect Ethan from media attention. Second, to allow Maya to build her success on merit rather than her connection to the Ashford name. The strategy had worked brilliantly. M. Rivers became known for elegant, empowering designs that made women feel confident and beautiful. Celebrities wore her dresses to red carpet events. Fashion magazines called her the mystery designer with a Midas touch. Maya had become wealthy, successful, and most importantly, independent. She would never again be at the mercy of a man like Adrian Stone. The discovery. One evening, Elena came to Maya's studio with a strange expression on her face. She held a business magazine, and Maya's stomach dropped when she saw the cover. Adrian Stone's empire crumbling, billionaire faces bankruptcy. Maya took the magazine with trembling hands. The article detailed how Stone Industries had made several bad investments, how competitors had outmaneuvered them, how Adrian's arrogance had finally caught up with him. The company was hemorrhaging money. Bankruptcy seemed inevitable unless Adrian found a major investor. "There's more," Elena said quietly, showing Maya her phone. It displayed a gossip website with photos of Adrian looking haggard and exhausted, leaving a lawyer's office. The headline read, "Victoria Hart files for divorce, seeks half of Stone fortune." Maya read the article with growing amazement. Victoria had left Adrian 2 years ago, citing irreconcilable differences. The divorce had been bitter and expensive. She had taken half of Adrian's personal fortune and cut all business ties between their families. "He's desperate," Elena observed. "According to my sources, he's looking for investors or a buyer for Stone Industries. The company your grandmother built with her own hands." Maya looked up sharply. "His company?" Elena smiled grimly. "Your mother was Richard's daughter from his first marriage. When Richard and I married, I adopted her legally. That makes you Richard Ashford's granddaughter and heir. Stone Industries was built with Ashford money. Richard was Adrian's father's silent partner decades ago. You have more right to that company than Adrian does." An idea began forming in Maya's mind. Dangerous. Thrilling. Perfect. How much would it cost to buy Stone Industries? Elena's smile widened. "Less than we have available." "But Maya, are you sure? Revenge is a dangerous game." Maya thought of the girl she had been 5 years ago, naive, trusting, broken. She thought of Ethan, who deserved better than a father who abandoned him before he was even born. She thought of all the sleepless nights, the tears, the humiliation. "I'm not interested in revenge," Maya said softly. "I'm interested in justice. Adrian took everything from me because he could. Because I was powerless. I want him to understand what that feels like." "Then let's make a plan," Elena said. The plan. Over the next 3 months, Maya and Elena orchestrated a careful strategy. Using Elena's connections and Maya's fortune from M. Rivers, they created a shell company called Phoenix Investments. Maya would pose as the company's representative, negotiating with Adrian while hiding her true identity. But first, she needed a new look. Maya had changed significantly since Adrian had last seen her. Pregnancy and motherhood had altered her body. 5-year. Actually seems to regret what he did to me, even if he doesn't know he's saying it to my face. People can change, Elena said carefully. But that doesn't erase what he did to you. What he took from you. He doesn't even know he has a son, Maya whispered. Ethan is asking about his father. Elena, what am I doing? Is this justice or am I just perpetuating the cycle of pain? Elena took her hand. Only you can answer that, my dear. But whatever you decide, I'm with you. Always. Maya looked back toward Ethan's room, then down at the city where Adrian worked late, trying to save what was left of his empire. 2 paths stretched before her: continue the revenge and destroy him completely, or reveal the truth and face whatever came next. The choice would define not just her future, but Ethan's as well. And Maya wasn't sure which path would lead to healing anymore. Part 3, The Reckoning, 2,000 words. The mask falls. The truth came out on a Tuesday morning, in the most unexpected way possible. Maya had brought Ethan to work for the first time, planning to take him to a children's museum after her morning meeting at Stone Industries. She thought she had timed it carefully. Adrian would be off-site meeting with investors, giving her time to grab important documents and leave before he returned. But Adrian's meeting had been cancelled. He returned early. Maya was in the executive office, Ethan playing with toy cars on the expensive carpet, when she heard Adrian's voice in the corridor. Panic seized her. There was no time to hide, no time to get Ethan out. The door opened. Adrian walked in, already speaking. "Ms. Rivers, we need to discuss the merger terms." He stopped. His eyes found Ethan first, taking in the boy's dark hair and gray eyes. Then his gaze shifted to Maya, really looking at her for the first time with dawning horror and recognition. Maya? The name came out as a whisper. Ethan looked up at the stranger. Mommy, who is he? The word mommy hung in the air. Adrian's face went white. His eyes moved between Maya and Ethan, doing the math, seeing the truth that Maya had hidden for 5 years. Hello, Adrian, Maya said quietly, dropping the sophisticated accent she had affected as Ms. Rivers. Surprised? You. Adrian staggered backward, leaning against his desk for support. You're M. Rivers. You've been, oh my God. The boy. His name is Ethan, Maya said firmly. And yes, he's yours. Biologically, at least. In every way that matters, he's mine. Ethan looked confused and scared. Mommy? Maya knelt beside her son, keeping her voice gentle. It's okay, sweetheart. This is your father. Adrian Stone. The truth exposed. Adrian looked like he had been struck. He sank into his desk chair, his hands shaking. You were pregnant. That night at the gala. You were already pregnant. No, Maya corrected. I found out 3 weeks after you threw me away. After you had me fired. After you made it clear I was nothing to you. Why didn't you tell me? Maya's laugh was sharp and bitter. Tell you? You announced your engagement to another woman while I stood beside you. You called me temporary. You said I wasn't good enough to be your wife. Why would I tell you anything? Adrian's eyes filled with tears, actual tears that shocked Maya to her core. Because he's my son, he whispered, looking at Ethan with naked longing. I had a right to know. You forfeited your rights when you discarded me like garbage, Maya said coldly. Ethan started crying, overwhelmed by the adult emotion swirling around him. Maya immediately scooped him up. Shoo, baby, it's okay. We're going to go now. Wait. Adrian stood. Please. Don't take him. I need a moment. I need to. You need nothing, Maya said icily. You made your choice 5 years ago. I'm just here for business, Adrian. That's all this is. Business. Business? Adrian's voice cracked. You've been systematically destroying my company. Taking everything I built. This has all been revenge. Justice, Maya corrected. I'm simply showing you what it feels like to be powerless. To have everything stripped away by someone who thinks you're worthless. I never thought you were worthless. You said I wasn't wife material. Maya's composure finally broke. You humiliated me in front of hundreds of people. You had me fired from my job. You left me with nothing. I was wrong. Adrian shouted back. I was stupid and arrogant and I made the worst mistake of my life. Is that what you want to hear? I threw away the only woman who ever loved me for who I was, not what I had. Victoria proved that when she left me the second money got tight. Ethan was sobbing now. Maya's anger deflated instantly. I'm taking him home. Maya, please. Just give me a chance to explain. To apologize properly. To know my son. No. Maya headed for the door. I'll fight you, Adrian said desperately. I'll sue for custody. I'll tell everyone who you really are. Maya turned back, her eyes blazing. You'll do none of those things, Adrian. Because if you do, I will bury you. I have proof of every shady deal you've made, every law you've bent, every person you've crushed on your way to the top. I will make sure you lose everything, including any chance of ever seeing Ethan again. Don't test me. She left him standing there, broken and desperate, just as she had once been. The investigation. Adrian didn't give up. Over the next week, He hired investigators who quickly uncovered the full truth: Maya's connection to Elena Ashford, the creation of M. Rivers, the acquisition of Stone Industries. He learned about the guest cottage, about Maya working as a waitress while pregnant, about Elena finding her and becoming the grandmother and protector he should have been. The reports painted a picture of Maya's strength and determination, but also of her pain. Investigators found people in Seaside Haven who remembered how thin and scared Maya had been when she first arrived. They found her old apartment in the city, interviewed neighbors who recalled seeing her crying on the fire escape night after night. Adrian read every word, his guilt and regret growing with each revelation. He had destroyed her. And she had risen from those ashes to become someone more powerful than he had ever been. But the report that broke him completely was about Ethan. His son loved dinosaurs and drawing. He was kind to other children. He asked questions about everything. He had nightmares sometimes about being alone. He had asked Maya multiple times about his father. Adrian had missed 5 years. First words. First steps. First day of school. Every milestone, every moment, gone forever because of his own cruelty and pride. He sat in his empty penthouse, surrounded by expensive things that meant nothing, and wept. A visit from Elena. Elena Ashford arrived at Adrian's office unannounced 3 days after the revelation. Adrian's secretary tried to stop her, but Elena walked past her with the authority of someone used to being obeyed. "Mr. Stone," Elena said, settling into a chair across from his desk. "We need to talk." Adrian had aged visibly in the past week. "Mrs. Ashford. I assume you're here to threaten me on Maya's behalf." "Actually, I'm here to understand your intentions," Elena said calmly. "My granddaughter has been through hell because of you. My great-grandson doesn't know his father. I want to know what you plan to do about it." "What can I do?" Adrian's voice was hollow. "She hates me. She has every right to hate me. I destroyed her life." "Yes, you did," Elena agreed bluntly. "You were cruel, shallow, and foolish. You threw away a woman who loved you genuinely for one who loved your bank account. You've made terrible choices, Adrian Stone." "I know. But," Elena continued, "I've also seen what Maya has become in her quest for revenge. She's powerful now, successful, independent. Everything she should be. But she's not happy. This revenge is eating at her, especially now that Ethan is asking questions." Adrian looked up. "She told him about me?" "She had to. He wants to know his father." Elena leaned forward. "Here's what I need to know, Adrian. If I convince Maya to give you a chance, not to forgive you, but simply to let you know your son, what would you do with that chance?" "Anything," Adrian said immediately. "I would do anything. Change everything. I don't care about the company anymore. I don't care about money or status. I just want to know my son. And if Maya would ever consider—" He couldn't finish. "Maya doesn't trust easily anymore, thanks to you," Elena said. "If she agrees to this, you will have to earn every moment with Ethan. Every smile, every conversation, every memory. Nothing will be given freely." "I understand." Elena studied him for a long moment. "I believe you do. Against my better judgment, I'm going to talk to Maya. But Adrian, if you hurt her again, if you hurt that boy, there is nowhere on this earth you can hide from me. Do we understand each other?" "Perfectly." The difficult conversation. Maya was furious when Elena suggested allowing Adrian into Ethan's life. "Absolutely not," she paced her studio like a caged animal. "He doesn't deserve to know Ethan." "This isn't about what Adrian deserves," Elena said gently. "It's about what Ethan needs. He's asking about his father, Maya. That question isn't going to stop. I'll tell him his father is dead. And what happens when he's older and discovers you lied? When he finds out you kept them apart?" Elena's voice was soft but firm. "You'll become the villain in his story. Maya sank into a chair, her anger deflating. I'm so scared, Elena. What if Adrian disappoints him? What if he hurts him the way he hurt me? Then we'll be there to pick up the pieces, just like we've always been. But Maya, you've spent 5 years becoming strong enough that no man can ever hurt you again. May. It's time to let go of the fear and anger. Not for Adrian's sake, but for yours and Ethan's. Maya was silent for a long time. Finally, she whispered, what if I can't forgive him? Then don't, Elena said simply. Forgiveness isn't required. But you can still allow Ethan to know his father. You can co-parent without reconciliation. The question is, can you separate your pain from Ethan's needs? It was the hardest question Maya had ever faced. The first meeting. 2 weeks later, Maya agreed to a supervised meeting between Adrian and Ethan. It would take place at Elena's house, neutral territory, with Maya present the entire time. Adrian arrived early, clutching a wrapped present and looking terrified. Maya watched from the window as he paced the driveway, checking his appearance repeatedly. He looks like he's about to face a firing squad, Elena observed. Good, Maya said, but her voice lacked conviction. When Ethan came running in from the garden, Maya knelt beside him. Remember how I told you about your father? Ethan nodded, his eyes wide and curious. He's here. He wants to meet you. You don't have to if you don't want to. I want to, Ethan said immediately. Does he look like me? Maya's throat tightened. Yes, baby. He looks like you. Adrian entered the living room like a man approaching something sacred. When he saw Ethan up close for the first time, really saw him, he had to brace himself against the doorframe. Hello, Ethan, Adrian's voice was rough with emotion. I'm Adrian. I'm very happy to meet you. Ethan studied him seriously. You have my eyes. Adrian laughed, tears streaming down his face. Actually, you have my eyes. And your mother's beautiful smile. Why weren't you here before? Ethan asked with a child's directness. Maya tensed, ready to intervene, but Adrian surprised her. He knelt down to Ethan's level, speaking honestly. I made a very bad mistake, Adrian said. I didn't know about you, and that's my fault. I hurt your mother, and I'm very, very sorry. I can't change the past, but I'm hoping you might let me be part of your future. Did you make mommy cry? Adrian looked at Maya, his expression full of regret and pain. Yes. I did. That was mean, Ethan said solemnly. It was. It was the meanest thing I've ever done. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to make it up to both of you, if you'll let me. Ethan considered this. Then he pointed at the wrapped present. What's that? Relief flooded Adrian's face. It's for you. Can I give it to you? For the next hour, Maya watched Adrian and Ethan play together. Adrian had brought a dinosaur encyclopedia, having learned about Ethan's interests. He answered every question with patience, listened to every story, and looked at Ethan like he was the most precious thing in the world. Which, Maya realized with a pang, Ethan was. To both of them. Revelation and redemption. That evening, after Ethan went to bed, Adrian asked to speak with Maya alone. They sat on Elena's terrace, the ocean stretching endlessly before them. Thank you, Adrian said quietly. For today. For letting me meet him. I know I don't deserve it. You don't, Maya agreed. But Ethan deserves to know his father, if his father is worthy of being known. I want to be worthy, Adrian said. Maya, I need to tell you something. About that night. About Victoria. I don't want to hear about Victoria. Please. You deserve the truth. Adrian took a shaky breath. My mother set everything up. She never liked you because you weren't from money, weren't from the right family. She convinced me that marrying Victoria would save the company, would secure my future. She even He paused, shame coloring his voice. She arranged for Victoria to fake a pregnancy. To trap me. Maya turned to stare at him. What? Victoria was never pregnant. It was all a lie orchestrated by my mother and Victoria's family. By the time I found out, we were already married. I tried to